Sit upright. Samagriva Shira Shariraha. Your head, neck, trunk. Sama means upright, properly aligned. Go for deep inhalations. Feel the lift of your rib cage as you inhale. Feel that your inhalations are making your spine tall and taller with every inhalation. Your sternum is lifting up. The dome of the rib cage is opening. The incoming breath has been called Achaman. So with every Achaman, you're filling up your lungs up to your vital capacity. Activate the Udyan Kriya as you exhale, which means contracting your abdominal wall along with your exhalation. At the end of this exhalation, you will also find your Mula Bandha as you lift your pelvic floor. There are two ways to it. Either you go for Udyan first, followed by Mula Bandha, or you go for Mula Bandha first, followed by Udyan. You can try both. So your inhalation, your mind will be focused in your chest cavity as you expand it, as you lift it, as you widen it. And during exhalation, the shift of the focus of the mind would be in the abdominal cavity and the pelvic floor. So you have to contract the abdominal wall as well as the pelvic floor, lifting it. Now, which one you want to do first? Try both ways. First, contract the abdominal wall, followed by lifting of the pelvic floor. Next, lift the pelvic floor first in Mula Bandha and then start your Udyan Kriya, contracting the abdominal wall. Guruji preferred this second method, the second way. So in the Mahabandha, the sequence which Guruji preferred was Jalandhar, Moola, and Udyan. Keep your face relaxed, your brain relaxed, your throat relaxed as you join your palms for prayer. Let us all pray together. Take a deep breath. योगेन चित्तस्य पदेन वाचाम् मलं शरीरस्य च वैद्यकेन योपाकरोत्तं प्रवरं मुनीनाम् पतञ्जलिं प्राञ्जलिरानतोऽस्मि आबाहु पुरुषाकारम् शङ्खचक्रासिधारिणम् सहस्रशिरसं श्वेतम् प्रणमामि पतञ्जलिम् हरि ओम. Deep inhalation, with the exhalation, bow your head down, surrender to Lord Patanjali. And then drop your palms, rest them on your thighs near the groin. Keep the elbows closer to your trunk. See that your trunk, neck, head are aligned, upright. Your face, your throat is relaxed. Your eyes closed. Activate your pelvic floor by lifting it and releasing. Lift, release. Contract, release. Contract, release. Start deepening your breath. We are preparing for Kapalbhati. Your focus should be at 3 locations inside. 1, the nostrils, where you feel that expulsion of air as you go to blow a birthday candle by your nose. That is the first desh. The second desh, where your mind is focused, is the abdominal wall. You're sharply contracting that abdominal wall for the expulsion to happen. The third, all through the activity, all through your round, the pelvic floor has to be lifted. That is the third desh. Your mind is focused. So your mind is multitasking. It is focused in 3 locations at the same time. Always begin Kapalbhati at the end of your normal exhalation. Keep a count of expulsions per round. Do it as per your capacity. You can go for 10, 15, 20, 25, 50 per round. The moment you feel that you're losing control or awareness of these 3 aspects, stop. Allow your breath to settle down. Allow it to normalize it. Then allow it again to deepen slightly before you begin the next round at the end of exhalation. So let us begin. When you stop your round, allow the system to replenish the breath. Also, when you stop the round, release the Mool Bandha, that is the lift of the pelvic floor, that will tell you how much you had applied in the first place. When you stop the round, go for deep inhalations, settle down the breath, normalize it, deepen it, and begin the next round at the end of the exhalation. Now add a fourth dimension to these three observations which you are already making. And that is, with every expulsion, visualize that the energy is rising up from the Mooladhara along the spine upwards. With every expulsion, as if the expulsion is pumping that energy up towards your brain. See that there is no undue tension in any other part of the body. You're not inadvertently tensing any other joint or any other part. For example, your toes, maybe your ankle, your hip joint, or your throat, your neck. The energy rises up along your spine. Try to keep a count of the expulsions and the count of the rounds. So what is going to be your final tally? 100, 200, 500, 1000, 1200. Kapalbhati is an excellent jog for your autonomic nervous system. There are two branches of the autonomic nervous system, the sympathetic and the parasympathetic. The sympathetic is the fight or flight, an action system. The parasympathetic is rest, digest, and repair system. Inhalation stimulates the sympathetic. Inhalations is the job of the sympathetic nervous system. And exhalations stimulate the parasympathetic nervous system. Inhalations are active, exhalations are passive. In Kapalbhati, we reverse this role. We make exhalations active and inhalations passive. And that is how we throw a challenge to our autonomic nervous system. And now stop. Sit still. Allow the breath to settle down. Open your eyes. Why do we learn pranayam? When do we learn pranayam? So let us take up when first. Yama, niyama, asana, and pranayam. So this is the fourth limb. If you're venturing into the fourth limb, you have to answer yourself whether the first three limbs are in place or not. You always look forward to your yoga class, but do you look forward to your yama class? Is there any such class which you attain? Do you look forward to your niyama class? Is there any such class which you attained? Asana class, of course, you attain. But what about the yama and the niyama? So as a student of yoga, the yama and niyama have to be in place. This is a very unique system of 8 limbs. It is not that if you practice only one limb, only that limb will grow. It will make the other limbs grow as well. That is the beauty of yoga. But then, if you support, if you nourish the growth of those other limbs as well, then your vikas will be sarvangit, holistic. You will progress holistically on the path of yoga. And you will not remain only body-centric, which unfortunately is the case today. So contemplate upon yama, contemplate upon niyama. It is a duty of every student of yoga. The yama have to be nourished. As you love your asana practice, you have to imbibe the yama practice. You have to imbibe the niyama practice. When Patanjali says that sthira sukham asanam, is he talking about the sukha only of the body? That now you have become an expert, so you can be sthira. You have become a veteran, as that very popular term of Iyengars, which is a totally misguiding term. So if you have become a veteran and you can sit still in a difficult posture, let us say Padmasana, and you are Sukhi, you are in Sukham. So is that Sukham only limited to the bodily experience that you get during the yoga class? Or that Sukham is related to the Yama and Niyama, Ahimsa, Satya, Asteya, Brahmacharya, Aparigraha, Shaucha, Santosha, Tapaha, Swadhyaya, Ishwar, Pranidhan, these 10 tenets, having imbibed in your mind, and that is creating a Sukham Avastha inside of you. So the sutra, Sthira Sukham Asanam, the sthirata is of course of the body centric sthirata. But the sukhadata is not body centric. The sukhadata is body centric is obvious, because if you are sthira, you can be sthira only if there is body centric sukhadata. The sukham which Patanjali is addressing is the sukham of the mind, the sukham of the chitta. And that is why the fruit of asana is tato dvanva anabhigataha. The conflict cesses. If they don't cesses, they will stop at least affecting you. So don't think that you can practice any limb. You can just pick up asana limb and pranayam limb and that's it. And you got nothing to do with yama and niyama. You got nothing to do with dharana, pratyahara, dhyan, samadhi. Yoga does not work that way. Why did Patanjali give a sequence? It is not a random sequence. Yama, niyama, asana, pranayama. You can very well imagine if the yama and niyama are instilled inside of you, what would be the quality of your asana? As Prashant Guruji had given that wonderful example when we were all doing Adhomukha Shvanasana, the downward dog. He asked that what kind of dog is that? Dattatreya sa kutra hai ki shikari kutra hai? Is it a loving Labrador or is it a bloodthirsty Rottweiler? Which dog is that? So if the yama and niyama are instilled in your chitta, which dog would that be? You know the answer. So we can't ignore that. And then comes pranayam. Again, the fruit of pranayam. Tataha kshiyate prakasha varnam. You see, the very first chapter, the Samadhi part, talks about the chitta vrittis. And the very first sutra says, chitta vritti nirodha is yoga. The very first chapter, the very first sutra, he begins by explaining the vrittis. Why does he do that? So that you should understand the texture of your own mind. How do you spend your time? The time that you are awake. In what vrittis do you spend your time maximum? Are you in pramana vritti more, or viparya vritti, or vikalpa vritti, or smriti vritti? And when you are asleep, is it nidra vritti? So the 5 vrittis, your mind does not go out of these 5. That is the entire realm of your mind. Your mind is doing either of these 5 things. Either it is in praman or viparya or vikalpa or nidra or smritaya. There is no 6th thing. So Patanjali has categorized them. Then he says that these 5, either it is good for you or bad for you, which means either it will take you on the path of yoga, the path of spirituality, the path of self-realization, or that is your goal, or away from the goal. So either you're going in the east direction or west direction. There is no middle course. The train doesn't stop. There is no trial run here. It is fired. Your life is fired at you point blank. There is no trial run. So to understand this, how will you understand this? You will not understand this unless you are able to step out of the vrittis. Because all these vrittis have covered the clarity of your consciousness. Because all the time you are meddling in them, you are तुम्ही लोळत असता त्या वृत्तींमध्ये. So Patanjali says that first observe, learn to observe your mind. आणि ती वृत्ती क्लिष्ट आहे की अक्लिष्ट आहे. Whether it is taking you towards your goal or away from the goal. This is the first observation. And pranayam is going to give you that. So the samadhi path, to put in place, you need the sadhan path. The second chapter. Pranayam will clarify the consciousness so that you will be able to observe your own mind, your own vrittis. That what is this fellow doing at this very moment? Which vritti is this? Whether it is klishta, conducive or non-conducive for my path, for my goal. That is the conditioning of the mind for meditation. You have to prepare the soil. You have to toil if you want to progress in meditation, if you want to progress in antaranga sadhana. So actually there are 4 fruits of pranayam. Tatah kshiyate prakasha varnam. That all these vrittis with which your consciousness is identifying itself, the consciousness will step out of that role and will observe the vrittis neutrally. This is the first fruit of pranayam. The second, dharana sucha yogyata manasa. Your mind, this faculty of mind will be qualified to do meditation. Why? Because swavishaya asamprayoge chitta swarupanukar ivendriyana pratyahar. Because pratyahar has happened. Why the mind becomes qualified? Because pratyahar has happened. Because what is pratyahar? Pratyahar is withdrawal of the senses, the 10 sense organs. And mind is their king. They are called Indriya and mind is the Devendra. म्हणून मनाला देवेंद्र म्हटलेलं आहे. Is the king of those sense organs. So when Patanjali says dharana sucha yogyata manasa, it implies that the senses have come under your control. And how much control? Tataha paramavashyate indriyana. So much control that you can apply it in a fraction of a second. The moment you wish, the moment the yogi wishes, he can just withdraw all his senses, sense organs, like a tortoise pulling in its limbs. And then, because if he can do it simultaneously, pulling in all the sense organs in one moment, then only he becomes capable of Sanyam, of the Antaranga sadhana, where he has to do Dharana, Dhyan, Samadhi all together. Trayam ekatra Sanyamah. Okay. So please keep these things in your mind. Contemplate on these. This is what you're doing is Shravana. Then after Shravan happens Manana, that you will analyze it in your own mind, what has been said. You'll form your own conclusions. You'll debate it inside of your mind. You'll compare it with existing knowledge that you have. That is all Manana part. And then you will arrive at your own conclusions. And then you contemplate on those conclusions, that it's Chintana. So Shravana, Manana, Chintana. And the final is Nidhi Dhyasan. Then when you go on doing Chintan, a time comes when you are absorbed. You become Swarupa Shunya. Tadeva Arthamatra Nirbhasam Swarupa Shunyam Iva. That you become that object of contemplation. It is so deeply embedded in you that it runs in your veins. That is Nidhi Dhyasan, Sakshatkar, to become. This is the process of learning yoga. Shravana, Manana, Chintana, Nidhi Dhyasana. This is also known as Chatushtaya, Shravana Chatushtaya. All right. So today we are going to do Brahmani. We'll do Brahmani Pranayam. And then we will meditate. Let us first talk about the object of meditation that Patanjali has suggested as the foremost. Because you might begin your meditation with any object as object of your focus, but ultimately it will boil down, it will come to this aspect, this point, which he calls Ishwar, which is the Brahma of Vedanta. There is a very beautiful Rucha in Ishavasya Upanishad. The Rishi is describing Brahma, the Rishi is describing God, Ishwar. So he says, Anejat Ekam, unaged, that does not move. Ekam is only one. Naina Deva Apnuam Purvamarshat. The senses cannot catch it. It outruns the senses. Tadhavato Anyana Atyedi Tishtat. It is faster than mind. Your mind cannot catch it. Being stationary, it outruns the senses. Tasmin apo matarishva dadati, because it is the very breath of the runner. You see, if you are running a marathon, you're catching your breath with every step. Can you outrun your breath anytime? No, you cannot. So that is how the Rishi has compared. That it is everywhere. You cannot outrun it. Then the next shloka he says, Tadejati Tannajati, that moves not. Tad dure, tad antwike, it is far, far away, as beyond your imagination, at the same time it is inside. Tadantarasya sarvasya tadu sarvasyasya bahyata. It is inside of everything, it is outside of everything. What you are concerned with is what is inside. Because if you know what is inside, then it will follow that you will know exactly what is outside. You'll know the true root, the true form of this phenomenal world. If first you know what is inside. So we are going to contemplate after our Brahmari on the divine presence in our heart. And we are going to dwell in that glory, that serenity. So Brahmari, today we will do it in 3 parts. The first, of course, you're going to roll your shoulders back, lift your sternum. And then last time I had shown you that you insert your thumbs in your armpits and pull your chest out, lift your sternum. Your frontal ribs are higher than the back ribs. So your chest is lifted. And then you put your thumbs in your ear as if they are a piston or a pivot on which you rotate your skull. And you get a Jalindhar Bandh. When the epiglottis, it closes the mouth of your windpipe partially. And you can hear the friction of your breath in the throat. So we are going to say Makar, the Brahmari Makar in Jalindhar Bandh 7 times. After 7 times, after your 7 times is done, you release the Jalindhar Bandh. And then we will go to the second part. In the second part, you inhale in Jalandhar Bandh and you say Makar as you release the Jalandhar Bandh. So it will be so you release the Jalandhar Bandha as you say the Makar. When your exhalation is over, the Makar is over, you go for Jalandhar Bandha again. There will be a fraction of Kumbhak there. And then you inhale in Jalandhar Bandha. So the first stage, you do your Brahmari in Jalandhar Bandha. You don't release it. You are in Jalandhar Bandha. As long as your breath lasts, 7 times. After that, I will tell, we will all stop because we're doing it for the first time. But when you practice on your own, all these 3 and the meditation should be in continuation. But today I'm going to interrupt it because we are learning. And then the third part is no Jalandhar Bandha, but you're visualizing a mirror, an internal mirror from your eyes to your throat. And you're saying the Makar, looking into that inner mirror. That is the most beautiful part. Again, 7 times. So after each part, I will ring this bell after each part. I'll give you sufficient time When you hear the bell, don't stop. You if you are not done with your 7 rounds, you just complete those 7 rounds. Okay, let us begin. Sit upright. Keep your eyes closed throughout. Prepare your chest. Prepare your Jalandhar Bandh. Let us begin Makar 7 times. When you're done, release your Jalandhar Bandh and breathe normally. Now we'll go to the second part where you inhale in Jalandhar Bandh and while exhaling and saying Makar, you release the Jalandhar Bandh. Prepare your chest. Go for the Jalandhar Bandh 7 times. Let us begin. Now we will go for the third part. Keep your eyes closed and look into that inner mirror. Imagine it from your eyes to your throat. Look directly into it and say the makar directly into it 7 times. Please keep your count. After 7 times, go inside because the door of the Chiraka should have opened and dwell in that divinity in your heart. There would be no bell after the 7 rounds. I'll ring the bell when the meditation ends. Let us begin. Join your palms. Let us pray. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Take a deep inhalation. With the exhalation, bow your head down and surrender to yoga. Yogena yogo jnatavyo yogo yogat pravartate yo apramattastu yogena sa yoge ramate chira. Open your eyes, drop your palms. Have a wonderful